Okay, let's get this talk rolling. First and foremost, a warm welcome to all of you in this room. I know you took a lot of steps to get here, so thank you. The session, I believe, is also being broadcast live in another room, so warm welcome to all of you who are joining us from the other room. I had quite the night yesterday because, as you know, Buy with AWS was formally announced in Ruba's keynote, and then we had an analyst dinner last night, and John was there, few of you were there. I didn't want to be up too late and lose my voice before the talk, so I left. And I got to my hotel, and I realized I suddenly feel very light. And then I realized I left my backpack at the restaurant, sorry. So I called the restaurant, and they locate my bag. But then they tell me, there's another backpack here. Do you know whose that is? I said, I had no idea. Anyway, an hour later, our analyst relations team managed to go get the bags. And I meet them at the lobby of the Wynn. And I find the owner of the other backpack. It was John Levine, if he's listening, from Databricks. So we both entered the restaurant exactly at the same time, left our bags in the same place, and then we both left, leaving our bags behind. Anyway, it all ended well. Looking at the agenda for today, so we'll start off with an overview of the AWS Marketplace Everywhere strategy and how we got to our latest offering, which is Buy with AWS, which allows you to build custom branded storefronts on your websites, powered by AWS Marketplace. We'll then have two of our launch partners, Workday and Confluent, join us on stage and present how they're using Buy with AWS to accelerate their private offer motions and drive product-led growth, respectively. We'll then open it up for some Q&A with you. Looking back at 2024, which we aren't done with just yet, AWS Marketplace continues to grow immensely, driving incredible value for both our partners and customers. And that, by the way, is, I just realized today, an hour back, that there's an auto timer on the previous slide, so I'll go back. We drive immense value for our customers and partners in terms of speed, selection, efficiency, and Marketplace transacted billions of dollars globally. We have over 5,000 sellers now. And more customers are looking at AWS Marketplace to procure on the cloud. In fact, over 99% of our top 1,000 customers on AWS now have an active Marketplace subscription. And we don't expect this growth to go down anytime soon. This time last year, we had announced the availability of a portfolio of public-facing APIs. And since then, hundreds of AWS partners have integrated these APIs into their workflows, including some of you in this room. We give you the capability to create product listings, define your pricing, update your pricing, create your offers. In fact, where we stand today, over 30% of the private offers transacted on Marketplace were created on a non-AWS venue. Or to put it another way, our partners are no longer coming to the AWS Marketplace Management Portal or Partner Central because we are meeting them where they are, on their tools of choice, be it their coding tools through our API integrations, their CRMs through our CRM connector or the CRM connectors built by our integration partners. And we're just getting started. And you can hear from some of our partners who have scaled their engagements using Marketplace APIs. Take the case of Cognosis, for example, who have managed to shrink the time it takes them to update and patch their products from months to minutes. Or the case of Red Hat or Deloitte, who have integrated Marketplace APIs into their coding tools and can now create private offers in under a minute and achieve 50% operational efficiency, respectively. And that's powerful. Underlining all of this is our strategy that we call AWS Marketplace Everywhere. It's a simple premise. We meet our customers and partners where they are. AWS Marketplace is now live in 19 other AWS service consoles, including EKS, EC2, and Redshift. And what that allows us to do is meet our customers at the right place, at the right time, with targeted offerings that satisfy their needs. For example, on EKS today, customers looking for monitoring solutions for their Kubernetes cluster can simply pop up the AWS Marketplace widget, look for monitoring solutions from AWS Marketplace that are containerized, and click and deploy all without having to leave the EKS console. We've also built integrations and connectors to popular procurement tools out there like Coupa and Ariba. And what that allows us to do is meet our enterprise customers on the procurement tools that they use. Now, I think we all know that the purchasing journey for customers is nonlinear. Customers typically hop across multiple websites, gathering the information they need before they make a purchasing decision. Earlier this year, we commissioned an AWS Customer Council survey, and over 80% of our customers told us that seeing the marketplace branding on a partner's website helped build trust. And another 60% told us that giving them the ability to transact marketplace listings from a partner's website would expedite their purchasing journeys. And that is exactly what we have set to accomplish with Buy with AWS. So whether you're an ISV, you're a reseller or a channel partner or a distributor with your own storefront or cloud marketplace, you can use Buy with AWS to help your customers transact your marketplace listings on your website and meet them earlier in their purchasing journeys and expedite your sales motions. I'd now like to invite Moshe on stage to walk us through Buy with AWS in more detail.
Thank you, Kartik. Hi, everyone. My name is Moshe Abramovich. I'm the product manager in charge of Buy with AWS. As Kartik mentioned, today we're going to cover a few examples. We're going to start with a quick introduction about what is Buy with AWS. I'll go through one flow with one of our channel partners and resellers, and then we'll have Workday and Confluent on stage to show you how ISVs can leverage Buy with AWS to empower their customers. So I want to start with the AWS Marketplace and the AWS brand, right? So Kartik touched about this earlier, but customers told us that when they browse the web, they see different solutions, different ISVs, different resellers' website. They don't know what is available in AWS Marketplace. They would like to understand which solution will run well on their AWS environment, which solution will allow them to leverage their AWS account to purchase, and that could really mean impactful conversion rates for our partners. So when we started developing this solution Buy with AWS, we had that notion in mind, and we made sure that the branding is a key aspect. And this branding will start in the user journey on the seller's website, on the partner's website, all the way up to the actual purchase page, which I'll show you in a second. And again, today, Marketplace is available on our website. You can buy Marketplace listings. You can also buy it on other service consoles such as EC2. And Buy with AWS actually takes all of that goodness and the ability to request offer, request demos, try or buy from the partner's website. So that's kind of the additional layer that we're introducing today. So what exactly is it? Buy with AWS is a collection of different call to action buttons that enables the customers to buy, try, request demo, request an offer. These are powered by a combination of our APIs and a new customized URL that we're providing to our sellers that creates this new buying experience. And we will show you examples exactly how it looks like. But the main thing I want to emphasize is, and you'll hear it from our customers as well, we wanted to make it as simple as possible for partners to integrate and get this running. You don't need big teams in order to get this experience live on your end, and it's a self-serve experience. So we had that in mind when we developed the solution. In terms of what are the benefits for you, the first, you can accelerate the path to purchase, right? So customers, they don't like to input credit card information when they go to different websites. If they have the payment method stored in the AWS account, they're more likely to buy and engage. The second, if they have commitments that they need to draw down, it also helps them to understand that they can do it with an AWS solution that is available on AWS Marketplace. The second, and then this was also mentioned on Ruba's keynote, we're introducing a new insight dashboard, which I'll show you in the next slide, but you will get very detailed information on how customers are engaging with the call to action buttons, with the buying page. So you would be empowered to create a better experience for them once they see the Buy with AWS experience on your website. And the third, this is especially relevant for a lot of our partners, the ability to create a storefront. You can take a curated set of listings for Marketplace, show it on your website using an API, and then use the call to action buttons to create an e-commerce experience. So it really streamlines the way that you go after customers and acquire new customers. Regarding the dashboard itself, so the dashboard is already live if you're using it, and it will really help you create those data-driven decision making. You would know exactly where customers are dropping off, how customers are engaging, how many agreements, what's the dwell time, and then you can tailor your offering accordingly to make sure that customers are actually converting using your Buy with AWS experiences. Now, we'll switch over to some of the implementations. But before that, I want to cover the different types of use cases that we have seen. So when we launched Buy with AWS, we heard from partners directly that they want to create a more streamlined way of customers buying from their website using AWS. So ISVs, specifically product-led growth ISVs, they want to enable less clicks and more conversion. And a lot of the ISVs are using it on their landing page, homepage, but also inside of their application, where customer can quickly use their AWS account to buy, link it to their marketplace subscription, and then use the software. The second is channel partners. Channel partners today are focused on private offers, but they don't have a storefront, a lot of them, that will show what are the listings that they can resell. With a combination of our APIs and Buy with AWS, they can create that storefront experience. And the third are distributors. We have big global distributors such as Ingram Micro, TD SYNNEX, and others, our launch partners, that have built a storefront for their customers, for their downstream resellers, so they can get the marketplace listings across different regions. So this is very impactful for those businesses. In terms of who are the launch partners, so this is a combination of ISVs, channel partners, distributors. We've really seen a breadth of different verticals and all different partner types leveraging this. Over 50 partners are launch partners, and we can tell that the demand is very, very high. And you could see the different logos. It's really a combination of different types of partners. In terms of the implementation, I want to start with one example of a storefront. WebVar is one of our integration partners. They've built a storefront as a service, meaning if you're a customer, if you're a channel partner, or even if you're an ISV, you want to create a storefront with all of the marketplace listing that you can sell or resell, you can do it with their platform. So in this use case, WebVar created a storefront for DCA. DCA is a reseller partner. And as you can see in their storefront, a customer can navigate to it. They see different tiles with the call to action buttons and also a short description. So if a customer, and everything is powered by our APIs as well. Once a customer clicks on a specific solution, they get to a product detail page. They still get to see the branding. They see the call to action buttons, and all of the information is flowing through our APIs. Once it's time for me to request an offer, I click to request a private offer. I fill in my information, and that triggers on the WebVar platform the ability to create an offer, automated way using our catalog APIs that Kartik mentioned earlier and we launched last year. Once the offer is ready, we share it, right? You can share it with the Buy with AWS link, or you can tell the customer, go back to the website, and then you can click Buy with AWS. Both would give the same kind of experience. And once the customer clicks on Buy with AWS, they need to sign in if they haven't signed in before. And then they get to see the new Buy with AWS page, right? So this page is the buying page. At the top, we are focused on the co-branding experience continuing, right? So you will see the seller or reseller logo next to AWS Marketplace. Below, you will see a breadcrumb that will take you back to the reseller's website or seller. And then it's a very streamlined way of purchasing. After you purchase it, you go back to the seller or reseller where you can actually use the software. So we really try to make it as simple as possible, as easy as possible for the customers to use it, but also for the partners when they build it. Now, I want to go over to the second example. We have Saqib from Workday. I want to invite him on stage to cover Workday's implementation. Saqib?
Thank you, Moshe. Yes. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Saqib Sheikh. I lead partner strategy and business development for Workday. I'm going to talk a little bit about how we experience AWS Marketplace in our sales process and how we're thinking about Buy with AWS and accelerating the sales that we already do. A quick introduction to what Workday is and what sales for us looks like. Workday exists to solve a very specific problem for our customers. Any medium to large enterprise will want to maximize value of its three biggest assets: its people, its money, and its customers. We help them do that with people and with their money. So we offer a enterprise-scale human capital management software and an enterprise-scale financials software. When you buy Workday, you're really going to make a purchase one time for a several number of years, and you're going to make an enterprise-scale purchase. You're not running Workday or other HRIS systems in parallel. You're running one system to manage all your people. You're not running multiple ledger applications. You're going to run one financials application. So it is a multi-year commitment that you're making. There's a large services component whenever a software sale is made with Workday, and there's typically a business transformation that's required, right? So when we sell software, we are not a high-volume software sales business. People are not purchasing Workday with their credit card over and over again. They're making enterprise sale and purchase decisions. When we experience AWS Marketplace today, it happens late in our sales cycle, right? We sell to business personas at our customers, the office of the CHRO and the office of the CFO. And after selection has happened, they will typically bring in the CIO to say, hey, how would you want to procure this, right? And the CIOs will then trigger an AWS conversation to say, well, we already use AWS, we have big cloud commits, could we do a marketplace transaction? And then we orchestrate a purchase through the marketplace. It actually elongates our sales cycle, but it increases win rates for us. And it's very important that we make sure that we streamline that, we automate it, and we make it more intelligent than it is today. Where we've chosen to implement Buy with AWS is specifically around our adaptive planning product. It is a subset of our HRIS and our FINS systems. It allows enterprises to plan and to manage expenses around people and money. So think about the planning into your next annual operating plan. How much budget are you going to allocate to people? How many staff and headcount you're going to allocate to people? People need to submit their requests. It needs to go through a review cycle with executives. Then it cascades its way down. And then when you give the people their budgets, you need to track, did they actually spend that money? Did they actually hire the number of people at the rate that they said that they would? That gets very complicated for large enterprises. And you need a tool. You don't want to do that in Excel. And we have a product, Adaptive Planning, that helps us do that. Highly strategic product, very valuable for customers. We want to be thoughtful about how we use AWS Marketplace for that. What problems are we trying to solve? Procurement can be very, very complicated when you want to purchase software at enterprise scale, right? These are large purchases, have multiple components. You will be buying Workday, but you will also be procuring services, partner services. There will be other third-party ISVs that you will be procuring. So it is a large, complicated purchase decision. We want to automate how we do that. We want to benefit from the cloud commitments that those customers have already made to AWS. And we want our customers to benefit from the consolidated billing that AWS and Marketplace provides. We want to remove that disjointed experience. We get requests a lot of times to say, hey, can we just purchase on your paper? Right? Could you be a reseller for these services, these third-party ISVs? Marketplace solves all that for us. So we'd rather use Marketplace. And we just want to make it easy for both the customer and our salespeople to execute the order. When we think about Marketplace, we already have higher win rates, but we really need to speed the sale, speed this enterprise sales process. That's where we're not getting it right at the moment. We want to make sure that we do it at higher volume than we're able to do it. Right now, the way we execute marketplace sales is through people and manpower. There's a few people who are experts at this process. We need to hit them up over and over again, and they explain to each new account executives how to do a marketplace sale. The automation is really going to help simplify this. How are we actually pulling this off? So if you go to workday.com today, you will see that there is a pricing button against the adaptive planning product page. If you click on that, you're going to get this banner, and you can click on Request Private Offer. It was one of the action buttons that Moshe talked about a little bit earlier. We have this implemented already today. When you click on that, it takes you to a web form. If customers fill out that web form, it doesn't just go into our normal lead gen process, it goes into what we call a high value process. Within a few hours, somebody from Workday is going to reach out to the customer, triage their request, and get them started on a private offer process. They're going to get confirmation that their request has been received. We're going to help them through that private offer process. And as a next stage, what we're going to do, when we have a volume of these requests coming in, we want to help customers track their private offers through this process. So there will be another button that says View Private Offers on AWS. It will take customers to AWS where those consolidated private offer requests are available. They can browse, they can update, and they can actually make the purchase on the marketplace. So we're really excited with Buy with AWS. We think it's going to create a much more embedded, cohesive experience and not this manual, long, drawn-out process that we experience today. So really excited to be part of the launch with the AWS team here. With that, I'll turn it back over to Moshe.
Thank you, Vivek. Okay, so this is how Workday Buy with AWS page actually looks like. So as you can see, as we mentioned before, we have the co-branding at the top. It's a very simplified way of viewing your offers and then buying, and it's already live. You can test it out on workday.com today. So for the next implementation, another ISV, Confluent, but there, yeah.
On that slide, then the image there, so that's a Workday page, not an AWS page.
We will get to Q&A and then, and we'll explain. Okay. So Confluent is using Buy with AWS a little bit differently. So I want to invite Vivek on stage to come and cover their implementation.
All right. Thanks. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Vivek. I lead growth at Confluent. I'm here today to talk about our implementation of Buy with AWS. One thing that's specifically different from most other implementations that you'll hear is we're primarily focused on product-led growth, meaning we're primarily focused on public offers. And I'll show a few reasons why we're doing it that way. And I'll also show where exactly private offers will come into play. So let's get right to it. Before going very deep into our implementation itself, I want to give a very brief overview of what Confluent is. Confluent is essentially a data streaming, real-time data streaming platform that's based on the foundations of Apache Kafka and Apache Flink. It's been re-engineered to be highly available and fully managed on cloud. We offer it in two forms. One is the SaaS offering, which is Confluent Cloud, and the other one is a self-managed offering, which is Confluent Platform. Everything that we talk about, that I talk about today, is going to be about our SaaS offering, which is what we offer through AWS Marketplace. What makes it really unique and why we believe that AWS Marketplace is a really strong partner for us is primarily because along with our main platform, we also have about 120 connectors, a little over 120 connectors, which helps our users bring data from different applications and databases into Confluent. A lot of them support private networking as well. So it's natural to believe that when an AWS user feels like they need real-time data streaming, they will come to Confluent because we have so many connectors, we support networking complexities, etc., and they'll be able to unify their billing. So it is a very strong acquisition channel for us. In addition to that, it is also a very strong retention and growth channel for us. Because imagine if we land a customer using a public offer, which is usually a pay-go listing. They will come in, they'll use the product, they'll use some free credits, and at that point, we'll engage with them to see if they're interested in a private offer. This allows our sales team to also study their behavior. So we are strongly focused on the PLG motion, and that's where we believe AWS adds value. As I go through it, I'll touch more on different places where private offers add value as well. So quickly touching on these two things, I briefly talked about them. So new user acquisition. Before we implemented Buy with AWS, we had two very specific challenges, and they were related to new user acquisition and existing user. So in new user acquisition, our main challenge was we would simply give a CTA that would take users to our AWS Marketplace. Now, what that does is we would lose tracking. Because let's say you spend $100 on a marketing campaign bringing a user to your website, and you're sending them to AWS website, you lose tracking. Because the conversion may not happen in the same session and things like that. And whenever traffic goes from one domain to another domain, no matter how strongly you try, you always have some kind of loss. So this was causing a lot of issues for us. We were controlling our spend. We didn't know how much ROI we were getting from it. So that's one problem that we had on the new user acquisition side. Now, on the existing user acquisition side, this is our set of users who are already using Confluent Cloud. They have good usage signals. And at this point, they're incurring a bill. Let's say they have had one bill. And they figured, well, I could link with AWS Marketplace and consolidate all my billing under AWS Marketplace. There's a number of benefits of doing that also. But that's a use case for existing users. So before Buy with AWS, we were sending them directly to our listing, AWS listing, without any clear indication of whether that person converted or not. So naturally, the conversion rates that we observed were fairly low. The second use case, the existing user use case, is what I'm going to refer to as linking, billing linking, in the next few slides. So let me show how we solved the new user acquisition challenge. So if you think about what Buy with AWS gave us, was essentially a way to direct people to our listing or a procurement page, and then also have a callback to Confluent website, meaning, yes, go set up your subscription, and then you're redirected back to Confluent, right? So it's essentially a callback to us. That allowed us to position AWS like logo alongside all the other single sign-on options, like Google and GitHub. This particular implementation that I have on my screen, it has, at the moment, 5 times higher conversion than what we had before. So post Buy with AWS, we're seeing a drastic increase in conversion rates, both in terms of percentage and numbers. So it's a pretty solid win on this one. This is our login page, right? Now, coming up a little bit more top of the funnel, there are some pages on our website which are high propensity for Marketplace AWS users. One of them is our partner page. There are many other pages like landing pages for events, follow-up, kind of like follow-up, thank you registration pages, thank you pages, etc. So those are all the pages where we believe there are AWS propensity audience. And that's where we placed this try free with AWS button. It is accompanied by that branding available in AWS Marketplace. Now, I'll be honest, this is not the best implementation. This is not our best design work or any of that. But even just this simple work has gotten us about 27% higher conversion. It has been running for about 2 months, so it's not a case of early signal or anything like that. We are fairly confident this is the lift in conversion, right? The other thing that this unlocked is now we can actually we can build in our CMS, content management system, we can build pre-formatted components that web developers and email marketers can use to include in their outreach, right? And that link will use the one-click procurement page. Prior to this, we would direct all of these CTAs to AWS Marketplace listing itself. So now it gives us a little bit more freedom, a little bit more flexibility to use the Buy with AWS procurement page. So our goal is to have this as the standard of adoption for all forms of CTAs for AWS Marketplace. So these two were new user acquisition use cases. Now there's a third one, that's the existing user use case that I was talking about. So in this use case, you have a customer who's been using Confluent Cloud, has been billed. They go to their billing panel, billing settings panel in the product. This is inside our Confluent Cloud product. They can change payment methods, add, remove, delete, whatever they want to do. Alongside the payment methods, we're placing cloud service providers, AWS Marketplace as one of them, and we're positioning these as payment options. Right now, we're able to position AWS Marketplace very well because of the Buy with AWS service. What this does is people click on it, they see the one-click procurement page. Most likely, they're already logged into AWS. So most of our users probably don't have to log in because they're already AWS users, right? So they see this one-click procurement page with our branding. and they're able to set up the subscription and then be directed back to us, all in the same experience. We don't have to send the user anywhere else. This is phenomenal. This is resulting in about 60% increase in our conversion rates. The reason why it's so important for us is we notice that the moment this linking happens, in a 90-day period after that, we see a 20% increase in consumption. That is how much people use the product. That means more billing for both us. It's a win-win for both us and AWS, right? So that's why this use case is critical. The future plans for this is that after maturity of certain self-serve orgs, we can proposition them with private offers directly in here at scale. We could create a rule, a feature flag that shows them private offers right in this interface. That cuts down the sales cycle quite a bit, because now when someone will be engaging with a private offer in this interface, they'll actually have something substantial to talk about, right, with the sales team. We can also make it fully self-serve. So these are the benefits here of this buy with AWS for the existing user use case. We believe this is, for us, this is the most important one as well. The new user acquisition is also, new logo acquisition is also important, but this one is where we'll see the most bang for the buck very fast. So I'll quickly sum it all up. This was super easy to adopt. It took us 2 weeks from the moment Moshe gave us the program details to actually getting everything implemented, 2 weeks. And it was all done by a really enthusiastic PM, a designer, and a growth engineer. So together, very easy implementation. We did not need any security teams, no identity teams were needed, no specialized engineering teams were needed. It was all done in the growth engineering team. I cannot stress enough how important this piece was for us, because we're nearing the end of the year, and this was super important to be quick and easy. The second thing here is that we surpassed our expectations. We were expecting, when I made this slide, I was expecting a 10% improvement. Right now, we're looking at a 2 to 3x improvement. Right? So significantly higher than expected results is what I'm seeing. We have drastically improved our spend to ROI tracking, because now the traffic is redirected back to us in all of the use cases, new user and existing users, which means we're able to link it to what campaign drove that user to your website, what did they do in the past, what are they going to do in the future, all of those things. Right? And then this opens doors to quite a lot of things we can do in future. Like one of the things I mentioned was pre-curated custom private offers based on org's product usage behavior. So that's one of them, but we are thinking about product catalogs. And this is where our platform product comes into play as well, which I talked about earlier. Currently, we are not doing a whole lot with Confluent Platform. But this does open doors, because this is such a streamlined process, this does open door for us to consider deploying self-managed product as well to AWS via AWS Marketplace. Private catalogs and custom catalogs that is also now more appealing. It was always doable with catalogs and existing APIs, but now it's more appealing because the CTA has good conversion tracking, so we can actually measure what happened. With that, I will give it back to Karthik to take us home.
Thank you, Vivek. And it's incredible seeing the value Buy with AWS is already driving in the relatively short time it's been available. Before we wrap up, a couple of closely related launch announcements. We've heard from you that testing the Marketplace APIs was hard. It was hard to know what kind of inputs to pass these APIs, and you asked us for more examples. I'm proud to announce that we partnered with Postman, the easiest way to test your APIs. AWS Marketplace APIs and our Partner Central APIs are now available on Postman. You can head over and look at sample inputs, outputs, and understand the sequence of API calls you need to make in order to get started with your automation journey. We've also heard from you that it was hard to understand the Marketplace API documentation. The API was typically spread across multiple places, and it was hard to piece all of that together to make sense of how to call these APIs. We've now announced and launched a new Marketplace APIs automation page, and more broadly, the partner automations page. And what this includes is a one-stop shop for all of your automation needs. You can go ahead and access use cases, case studies, success stories from other partners like you who have embarked on their automation journey. You can look at offerings from our third-party integration partners, as well as land on the Marketplace Postman page and get started and hands-on with your API automation journey. To summarize all that we heard today, if you're an AWS partner, head over to the API, to the automations landing page and get started with your automation journey today. And you can use Buy with AWS to accelerate your sales motion. And you can use Buy with AWS regardless of what type of partner you are. So whether you're an ISV showcasing products on your website, whether you're a reseller or a distributor who's hosting your own storefront or marketplace, you can go ahead and use Buy with AWS to meet your customers earlier in their purchasing journey. And if you're an AWS customer, make your next purchase using Buy with AWS. You can use Buy with AWS regardless of how you sign in to AWS. So whether you put your credentials directly in the AWS sign-in console, or whether you use single sign-on set up as part of your enterprise sign-in process, you can use Buy with AWS. And also note, every Buy with AWS transaction is a marketplace transaction. And the same set of permissions that govern your marketplace purchases is what governs Buy with AWS. I'd like to invite Moshe, Saqib, and Vivek back on stage, and we'll open it up for some Q&A. As they make their way up, feel free to scan these QR codes that contains resources and documentation to all that we've discussed today. First and foremost, thank you so much, everyone, for being here, and everyone who joined us remotely from the other room. A quick reminder, please complete the survey. You should get the survey link in your app. So thank you, and have a great day ahead.